All right, ready to uncork some serious knowledge.
I am so ready. Let's do this.
Today, we're diving deep, and I mean deep, into the world of sommeliers.
Beyond the swirling and the sniffing, we're going there.
Exactly. You want to know what it really takes to rock this career?
The real deal, no sugarcoating.
You got it. We're lucky enough to have some incredible sources for this deep dive. Career guides, insider tips on how to nail those interviews, even AI insights from RoleCatcher, this super cool job search platform.
Oh, I've heard of RoleCatcher. They're doing some really interesting things with AI and job hunting.
Absolutely. They're kind of changing the game.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, I have to tell you, something in the Sommelier, the complete career guide, totally jumped out at me. It says that sommeliers, yeah, they need to be wine whizzes, obviously, but
There's a but.
big time. It's not just about wine. The guide mentioned they handle a whole range of alcoholic beverages, craft beers, fancy spirits, you name it. And get this,
Hit me with it.
their main goal, making sure every customer has a pleasant and satisfactory experience. I mean, talk about pressure.
That's a tall order, especially on a busy Saturday night.
Right. So expert to expert, because you clearly know your stuff. What does that actually look like in practice?
It's about crafting an experience, not just rattling off grape varietals. A sommelier is juggling customer service, inventory management.
Wait, hold up. Inventory management, like spreadsheets and everything.
You bet. You laughed, but it's true. They need that deep knowledge of pairings, but they also have to stay ahead of the trends. For example, biodynamic wines are having a real moment right now.
Okay, so more beverage ninja than wine snob. Got it.
100%. And speaking of leveling up, the career path itself is fascinating.
Right. The source breaks down the different stages so well. And those little bio sketches, genius.
Right. You really get a feel for how a sommelier's role changes as they gain experience. It's amazing.
So true. What were some of the big things you noticed about that evolution?
It's a real shift from hands-on tasks to more strategic thinking as you climb the ladder.
Love that.
An entry-level sommelier might be focused on serving, suggesting pairings, things like that. They might highlight their WSET Level 1 certification that's a globally recognized wine education program just to show they've got the chops.
Makes sense.
But then as they progress, they get more and more involved in curating the wine list, managing inventory, even training new recruits.
Wow, so they really work their way up.
Absolutely. One of the intermediate sommeliers in the guide, they talked about working with chefs to design these incredible dining experiences around the wine. They'd already earned their WSET Level 2, so you know they were for real.
Wow, talk about a dream job.
Right. It's like they become the architect of the whole beverage program.
Okay, that is seriously impressive.
Yeah.
By the time you're a senior sommelier, you're probably calling the shots on which vineyards to work with,
Yeah.
mentoring those rising stars.
Exactly.
It's incredible.
It's a journey, that's for sure.
Speaking of journeys, I have to ask,
Shoot.
which of these stages, just from what we've talked about so far, speaks to you the most? Like, where would you start?
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the hard work, the dedication.
The high standards, definitely high
Yeah.
standards.
Absolutely. But those long nights, and let's be honest, sometimes those picky customers, those better come with some serious perks, right?
Oh, for sure.
So when you were looking at the source material, what really stood out in the rewards department?
Well, the sommelier. The complete career guide definitely did not hold back on the financial potential of this career.
Really?
Especially as you climb the ranks, we're talking some serious earning power.
Okay, I'm listening.
The guide even gave an example. Senior sommeliers in major cities, they could be pulling in well into six figures,
Wow. Okay.
especially when you factor in tips and bonuses on top of their base salary.
That's incredible. But it's got to be more than just the money, right? 100%. It's the chance to work with those top shelf wines, the ones most people only dream of tasting. You're basically building your expertise with every sip.
And let's not forget those travel opportunities the guide mentioned. Imagine jetting off to Napa, to Bordeaux, getting the grand tour of all these incredible vineyards.
It's like a playground for anyone who is passionate about wine. You're not just learning about it from a textbook, you're experiencing it firsthand.
Meeting the people who actually make those amazing beverages has got to be pretty special.
Absolutely.
Okay, you've sold me on the perks. Sold. But it's not all glamour, right?
Right.
There's a real art to this, to guiding guests through that world, educating them without, I don't know, being pretentious.
Totally. And that's where the real passion comes in. A great sommelier isn't just reciting facts. They're sharing their love of wine in a way that's approachable, exciting even.
I like that. Exciting.
It's about demystifying those complex flavors, helping someone discover a new favorite bottle.
Maybe even turning them into a lifelong enthusiast.
Exactly. There's a line from one of the sommelier profiles in the guide that really stuck with me. They said, "There's nothing more rewarding than seeing someone's face light up when they taste the perfect pairing."
That's what it's all about. And speaking of finding that perfect pairing, let's shift gears a bit and talk about how RoleCatcher can help you actually land that dream sommelier
I
job.
love it.
We're lucky enough to have access to their AI-powered interview insights for this deep dive, which I have to say is seriously cool.
It's amazing what AI can do these days.
Right. So, expert to expert again here.
Yeah.
What really jumped out at you from those sample questions and that AI feedback?
You know, what really impressed me was how the AI seems to get at the why behind those interview questions. It's not just giving you canned answers, you
Yeah,
know.
okay.
It's like it's helping you understand what the interviewer is really looking for. Like, for example, a classic interview question. What inspired you to become a sommelier?
Right. Seems pretty straightforward.
You'd think so, but the AI pointed out that they're listening for genuine passion when you answer this question, a story that reveals your own, like, personal connection to this world.
So it's not enough to just, like, know your stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be able to convey that excitement.
That personal touch.
I love that. So what other kind of, like, gems did the AI uncover?
Well, there was this one question about handling difficult customers, which, let's be real,
That's gonna happen.
it's par for the course in this industry, right? But the AI stressed how important it is to have concrete examples ready to go.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, "I'm great with people," you could talk about a time you turned a grumpy customer into a regular, or how you helped someone with really specific dietary needs find a wine they loved, something specific.
It's all about those real-world stories. Speaking of stories, the source also touched on how a sommelier's expertise can translate beyond just the restaurant scene, which I'm super curious about.
Me too. There are so many possibilities.
Right. So let's dive into that next. And we're back, ready for the final swirl in our deep dive into the world of sommelier.
I'd say we've uncorked some serious knowledge today.
We really have. We've
Yeah.
gone way beyond like the classic image of just fancy restaurants and, crazy expensive bottles of wine.
It's so much more than that.
Right. It's clear that being a sommelier takes real dedication, a thirst for knowledge, no pun intended.
A little wine humor.
Yeah.
Love it. But seriously, you need that passion for the craft.
Absolutely. But as we've learned, the rewards can be pretty amazing.
That's what makes it so inspiring, right? It's a field full of possibilities. And not just in those classic settings either.
That's what I was just thinking about. There's that whole other side we haven't even touched on yet.
Right. And that kind of brings me to my final, thought-provoking question for our listeners to ponder.
Ooh. Okay. Hit me with it.
So we've seen how technology is changing, every industry these days.
It's kind of crazy.
Right. So I can't help but wonder, how else could a sommelier's expertise be put to work in the future?
Ooh. I like where you're going with this.
Could we see AI
Well-
popping up in apps, maybe? Or virtual wine tastings led by experts from all over the world?
That would be so cool.
I know, right? The source material definitely hinted at this shift toward less traditional roles for sommeliers, which honestly makes me super curious about what other, innovative paths might open up in the years to come.
Those are some seriously thought-provoking questions. Who knows, maybe this deep dive has planted a seed for your own adventure in the world of wine.
That's what we're hoping for.
Huge, huge thank you to our expert for sharing these incredible insights.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
And to you, our listener, for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and cheers to always expanding your palate.